Wow.
Beautiful weather we're having today.
Yeah, I know. It's a great day. But did you hear what happened to Brad and his wife?
Guys.
Shannon?
Yeah, he cheated on her with
Sarah.
Guys, you're on. We're
Yeah.
live.
Okay.
We're live. We're live. Okay. Welcome to SSRM News. I'm your host, Raina Martinez.
And I am your co-host, Steve Stucker.
On our broadcast tonight, President Nixon authorizes secret bombing raids in Cambodia. Vietnam War opposition escalates across America. An agreement was met between the United States and the Soviet Union to sign the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty into action as a preventative measure taken to avoid conflict. And controversy develops over the Kent State shooting in Ohio. This broadcast is brought to you by Johnson & Johnson.
Bleach it away with Clorox because clean matters.
Around 100,000 civilians are dead and 2 million are homeless after bombs were dropped in eastern Cambodia. Nixon believed that North Vietnamese forces were using Cambodia as a passageway to transport troops and supplies into southern Vietnam. He hoped that damaging these supply routes would weaken the Vietnam forces. The initial operation and first attacks were authorized by President Nixon. However, he did so without the knowledge or approval of the U.S. Congress. Nixon and his secret advisor, Henry Kissinger, took all precautions to make sure the plan was kept a secret. No comment, no warnings, no complaints, no protests. I mean it. Not one thing to be said to anyone publicly or privately without my prior approval, Nixon told Kissinger before the first attacks. Even the pilots of the planes that transported the bombs were lied to about the location of their targets. The first bomb drops began on May 18th of 1969. The attacks and Nixon's plan in its entirety were kept secret until 1973, when the bombings became public and were put to a stop. The presence of American troops convinced many Cambodians to overthrow their government, leading to the rise of the Khmer Rouge, a communist government. As of today, this government is still ruling over Cambodia, with no clear end in sight. We now have footage of Cambodia as bombs fell from the sky. Truly devastating.
Very. An agreement was met today by America and the Soviet Union signing an anti-ballistic missile treaty. What does this mean for America and the Soviet Union? To understand this treaty, you must understand what an anti-ballistic missile is. An anti-ballistic missile is a missile that shoots down enemy warheads. It's very hard to accurately shoot down warheads because once their projection breaks off, it starts to free fall until it hits the ground and blows up. Anti-ballistic missiles are very useful because once we figure out how to accurately shoot down warheads, then that means that we won the Cold War. Now, if Russia figures out how to accurately shoot down our warheads, then that means we lost. And we can't have that, and that's why this anti-ballistic treaty is put into place. Without effective national defenses, our superpowers are to remain vulnerable, even at reduced or low offense force holdings to the other's nuclear weapons, deterring either side from launching an attack first, because it faces a potential retaliatory strike that would assure its destruction. The Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty was placed as a preventive tactic from starting a nuclear war. It's strange in that we signed away our rights to protect our own country.
Are you a messy eater? Are you tired of ruining your best clothes? Do you wish there was a way to keep that shirt as white as your emo cousin Dustin who changed his name to Slayer? Well, there's a solution! Introducing Clorox Bleach! Wash your worries away with our new Ultra Whitening Formula. No more embarrassment of walking around with a stain on your clothes. If you're sad,
take a glug. At the store, buy a jug. The best decision you'll ever make. Buy your bleach today! Not available in the UK, Dominican Republic, or North Carolina. The consumption of this product is not safe nor recommended by the FDA or any licensed health officials. The makers of this act cannot be held responsible for any injuries or fatalities this product may cause. For questions or comments, call 1-800-555-2763.
4 left dead and 9 injured after devastating shooting at Kent State University in Ohio. As we all know, the Vietnam War has caused a lot of backlash and turmoil throughout the country. Earlier this year, students at Kent State University were protesting the actions of President Nixon regarding his decision to bomb Cambodia. But then the protests quickly turned violent.
Students were throwing rocks and bottles and even started a bonfire. Having caused major disturbances on school grounds, Ohio National Guard was sent in to maintain order. By May 3rd, about 1,000 National Guardmen were on Kent State campus. Allegations were made against students that included calling them unpatriotic and, in the words of Governor James Rhodes, the worst types of people that we harbor in America.
As the violence continued to escalate, protesters were being threatened with bayonets and were even attacked with tear gas, which proved ineffective due to winds. Eventually, around 77 guardsmen advanced upon protesters with bayonets and rifles, but this didn't faze them. 29 of the soldiers, reportedly fearing for their lives, eventually opened fire on the crowd. We now have a witness who was kind enough to share their story with us.
We were just out there protesting, We do this every other week. It was just, we're spreading the message. College is supposed to be free. We're supposed to just throw our thoughts out there, and then all of a sudden, we heard one shot, and then 2, and then multiple, and before I knew it, my friends were dying in front of me. I saw everybody was just on the ground. Everybody was just losing their minds, screaming, crying. I didn't know what to do. I just ran. I had to get out there. I had to leave.
The firing lasted a total of 13 seconds and 67 shots were fired, leaving 4 dead and 9 injured, with 2 of the fatalities being of students who weren't even participating in the protest. This is truly awful.
Yes, it is. And it makes me wonder why the protest had to turn violent in the first place.
Yeah, well, I hope those families are doing better and coping with their losses.
Me too, Steve. Me too. Well, I guess that concludes our segment for today.
Thank you, everyone.
Sleep easy, America!
Into the news! What? I'm agreeing.
Cat?
Yeah?
The hell's this?
We're recording,
We're shooting!
Kevin.
Get out!
I got broads in Atlanta, just to the lean the family. Credit cards in the scammers.